Hello again, this is Rabbi Dr. Juan Marcos Brajona Gutierrez, and today we're looking at Second Maccabees. We're continuing our discussion on Jewish perspectives on life after death. We concluded our review of the Tanakh, of the Hebrew Bible, and all the passages that we could find related to life after death. And then we began our review of the literature of the Second Temple period. Remember, this begins in 515 BCE and then continues until 70 CE, although I have said before that we can really extend that in many ways into the second century because of many of the issues that continue to provide us with a measure of continuity with the first century. In any case, the second book of Maccabees is written in Greek. It is not part of the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible. It is, however, a part of the canon of the Catholic Church and of Eastern Orthodox churches, where it's regarded as a deuterocanonical work. So it's not part of the main canon, so to speak, although it's found in the same text, but it is considered a book, if you will, that has authority for those particular religious groups. It focuses in on the Maccabean War against Antiochus Epiphanes IV, and it concludes with the defeat of General Nicanor of the Seleucid Empire. Now, our focus is specifically on chapter 7, verse 10 through 12. This has to do with Hannah and her 7 sons who have been arrested, and the Seleucids are trying to persuade each of the sons to violate the Torah, and when they refuse to, they are tortured and killed. The third one is confronted, and it says, after this, the third one was mocked. When it was demanded, he put out his tongue quickly, extended his hands courageously, and stated with dignity, I have received these limbs from heaven, and I give them up for the sake of God's laws, but I hope to recover them from God again. The king and those with him marveled at the young man's spirit, since he considered his agonies nothing. So this individual is being tortured, and yet he expresses a very, I believe it's very clear indication of Mechaye Hamitim, a belief in the resurrection of the body, a physical body. In texts that we've looked at before, there are discussions or there are references to the ongoing existence of the soul in some form. But I think if you remember, if you've looked at previous videos, what we found is that concrete statements regarding physical resurrection are rather limited. In fact, in the Tanakh, we really only saw Daniel where there's an explicit statement that is made. I think we could argue Ezekiel also provides something of that, but it, in many ways that focuses in on the national restoration of the people of Israel, the end of the Galut, the restoration of the exiles from Babylon. But in any case, the number of texts that we have that are explicit are very limited. And so this is why Second Maccabees is important, because it provides us with a key text where we can actually see this being articulated. Now, the text was probably written sometime in the second part of the 2nd century BCE. So we're talking about post 150. So if you remember in your counting, as we go down, we approach the next century before the Common Era. So the Maccabean War takes place basically, from 167, but it continues for the next 25 years roughly until there's actual independence that we can point to. So it was written sometime toward the end of that period, maybe post 150, 140s, maybe even after that. We don't have a clear indication, but I think we have a very important text as we continue our study of the literature of the Second Temple period and its relation to the idea of Jewish perspectives on the afterlife.